Hey guys, I'm Adi. Welcome back to the series. Last time we took care of the post navigation. It's the one on the bottom here. And also we improved the loop by using get template part. And we did some post formats for quote, link, and the gallery. Today it's time to move on to the next element in our theme, which is the sidebar. It's a big element, it's a very important one. So the very first step you need to take to work with custom sidebars is to register those. So let's open up Coda, open functions PHP, and this is where all the magic will happen. So we'll say register sidebars actually. We have 3 sidebars, yes? Let's have a look. So we have the main sidebar on the right, and also 2 additional sidebars in the footer. One which contains 2 widgets on the left, and one containing 1 widget on the right. So let's begin by verifying if the register sidebar function actually exists. Okay, so we'll say if function exists, register sidebar. Okay, then we'll do the following: register sidebar. Yeah, and this can receive an array as the argument. So let's do it like this. All right. So there are a couple of options that we must pass to the function. The first one is the name. So name, this is the name of the sidebar. Yes, in my case it's going to be main sidebar. We're talking about this one, yes, the right sidebar. Okay, so main sidebar, but also I'll do it like this. Okay, so we'll mark that for translation. Domain. Alright, so that's the name. Next one is an ID or a slug, and that's a unique identifier for that sidebar, and that's going to be ID. And I'll say main sidebar. Okay, next one is a description. And the description, again, let's use these operators. We'll say the main sidebar area. All right, the next one, or the next 4 properties that we're going to send are related to the widgets. So we have a before widget, after widget, before title, and after title. And we'll input the markup that will be placed before and after the widgets and before and after the titles. So let's start with before widget. All right, and that's going to be, let's see, let's go back here in HTML, and you can see that each widget starts with a div class sidebar widget. So go ahead and copy that, okay, and paste it right there. Next one is after widget, and the end of that is just we're closing the div and we're adding some comments. Okay, the next one is before and after title. So before title, it's the markup that will be placed before each title. In our case, it's an H4. So we'll do H4. And finally, after title. Oops, it's going to be the closed h4 tag. Okay, and that's all we need actually to register a sidebar. Now if we take a look in our backend, if we go to Appearance, Widgets, we can see that we have a custom sidebar. Yeah, main sidebar. It's this title right here, and the main sidebar area, it's the description. And you know, we can go ahead and drag some widgets. Okay, so we finished registering our main sidebar, but we still have 2 more to go. So let's do that quickly. We'll just copy this. Okay, and the other one is going to be, let's call it left footer. All right, ID is left footer, description, the left footer area. Okay, before widget, let's have a look in the footer. Okay, footer widget area. All right, so we have a div with a class of footer sidebar widget. All right. And now that I look at this code, there seems to be an extra div here. So I think we can get away with adding the span3 class right here to this div. So that shouldn't be a problem. Let's see. So div class footer sidebar widget. Where is it? All right, and span3. Okay. After widget, we're closing the div. And before and after the title, it's h4. It's the same. Okay, do the same for the right footer sidebar. So that's right footer, right footer, right footer sidebar widget, span. I think it's span 6 here. Yep, span 6, because it will take up half of the columns. Okay, and h4 and h4. All right, so that should do it. Refresh. So now we have 2 additional sidebars. All right, that's pretty good. Okay, the next step, we must actually show that sidebar inside our theme. Now, we started in index.php by calling get sidebar, and by default this function will load sidebar.php. all right, so let's create a new file. We'll call it sidebar.php, and inside it we'll write the code that's necessary to display our main sidebar. And we'll start with a PHP, and we'll say this: if function exists dynamic sidebar, or dynamic sidebar main sidebar. Remember, this is the ID of the main sidebar. Yeah. Let's do this actually. So we'll close that if, and we'll say, all right, so let me just explain this for you. First, we're trying to find out if the function dynamic sidebar exists, because we don't want to force WordPress to show a sidebar if it doesn't support it. And then we're checking if dynamic sidebar of main sidebar can display. So we're basically saying if you cannot display the main sidebar, then input some text, or input some default widgets. Now this might seem a bit counterintuitive. The thing is, let me just show you the result. Yeah, if I refresh, we have no widgets. But if I drag something in the main sidebar, like categories, for example, and I save it, it's gonna show up the categories. But the thing is, you might expect that the if statement should trigger the display of those widgets, but it doesn't, because we're saying if the function doesn't exist, or if the sidebar cannot be displayed, then show this text. But we're not saying anywhere, if the sidebar exists, show it. And this is a bit tricky, because what happens is when you're calling this function, even with this negation in front of it, it will still continue to display the widgets if it has any. So that's the way to display the widgets. Here inside the conditional statement, we're gonna put everything that we want to show if the sidebar doesn't exist or we don't have any widgets. So by default, a default widget. So I hope that made sense. It's a bit difficult to understand at first, but I'll provide you a link to a post on a forum on WordPress, and you can read more about this in that post. But for now, I want to show a default widget. Yeah, so we're going to say div with a class of sidebar widget, and inside it I'm going to do an h4, and I'm going to say search. So I'll do PHP, I'll do search for, or simple search, it doesn't matter. Framework. All right, and right here I'm going to do another PHP, and I'm going to say get search form. So refresh. Let's take out that that widget. All right. So now, if we don't have any widgets, the default widget for search is displayed. Yes. Okay, that's great. So this is what get search form does, right? It generates, yeah, a search form. So right now this doesn't look right. We still need to make it look like this. Remove the button, add this little extra icon on it, but we'll do that shortly. For now, let's worry about the other two sidebars in the footer. Okay, so to do that, we must open our footer.php, and we're going to scroll down. Let's see, where is it? Footer PHP. Okay, right here. So footer widget 1. I'm going to delete the whole span 3. And instead I'm going to do a PHP, and I'm going to say get sidebar, and I'm going to pass in a parameter, left footer. Okay, so I'm passing in the ID of the sidebar that I want to show. And I'll do the same for this one. Yeah, right footer. Okay, so we're loading left footer and right footer. But if we take a look, it's not loading anything in the page because we don't have anything, any file that that could load. So let's create a new one, and we'll call this sidebar left footer.php. Notice that the file name equals to sidebar, and then the second part is the ID of the sidebar that we want to load. Okay, so I'm gonna copy the code from this one. I'm gonna paste it in, replace it with this. Okay, and you know, if there isn't any widget defined, that's fine. I'll just leave it like this. And also duplicate this. Sidebar right footer. Change this. And now it still won't show anything. But if we start adding some widgets, and to the right, let's see, recent posts, and we refresh, there it is. We have recent posts, and then we have the categories and the blog role. All right, so there is a bit of an issue with the positioning here because it's showing the right sidebar first, but it's just a matter of positioning. I'm sure we'll deal with that in the very next video. So thank you for watching so far. I will see you very soon. Bye bye.